Lots to talk about in today's video, including some trade talk around teams like Vancouver, Toronto, Boston, and the New York Rangers. Plus, there's lots of rumors circulating around the four-nation rosters, which will get revealed tomorrow. More news from the NHL waiver wire and several injury updates, including a big one around Canucks defenseman Rumours Hronek. We'll discuss all that and more coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have lots to talk about here today. We're going to start first with some news from the waiver wire, followed by a bunch of roster moves, injury updates, and we'll get into the speculation around the NHL. So in today's waivers news, we had two players on waivers yesterday. We had goaltender Dustin Tokarski, who had signed a new contract with the Carolina Hurricanes, and they wanted to place him with their American Hockey League affiliate. Therefore, he needed waivers. He cleared, so he's been reassigned. And we had Vegas have Daniil Chayka, one of their prospects, on unconditional waivers so they could mutually agree to terminate the contract. That's happened now. That's all good. He cleared, no surprise. And Chayka is now an unrestricted free agent and can go sign anywhere he's able to. On to some other updates, some big injury updates, actually, quite a few around the NHL. In Los Angeles, we learned that bottom six forward Trevor Lewis is going to be out for an extended time with a lower body injury, looking at 4 to 6 weeks. They have recalled Andre Lee and Samuel Hellenius as well. In Calgary as well, we have some roster updates because tonight they are hosting the Blue Jackets. Of course, with the passing of Johnny Gaudreau this past summer, you know, obviously Calgary and Columbus being the two teams he played for, you knew they would obviously do, some major honoring of Johnny when the teams played. I know his parents were in town. The Flames had his dad on the ice for practice yesterday. Obviously, doing lots of great things to not only honor Johnny, but, just to be around the family. And obviously Sean Monahan, returned to Calgary as well after signing in Columbus. Like, lots of emotions going on. So big night in Calgary as they honor Johnny Gaudreau. And of course the Flames are healthy scratching Kuzmenko tonight. So Kuzmenko will be sitting out. They've also Tyson Barrie and Joel Hanley will also be out tonight as well, and not due to injury. So big game tonight. Obviously the focus will be on the Gaudreaus, but certainly both teams looking for 2 points. They're both having pretty decent seasons here so far. Patrick Laine is in tonight for the Montreal Canadiens as they do battle with the New York Islanders. So they had to move Carey Price's contract to long-term injury reserve, which they hadn't done as of yet, in order to activate Laine. And Laine did not wait long to make an impact on the game. Laine got his first goal with the Montreal Canadiens tonight on the power play. I do have a clip of that shared to my X or Twitter account. If you're not following along on there, I highly recommend you do. Lots of great hockey talk, and I can share a lot more highlights. And it's just a different experience following me there than it is here. So I certainly recommend you check that out if you're not already doing so. The Winnipeg Jets today have recalled prospect Brad Lambert, so he'll have a chance to play. I believe they're putting him in a top 6 centering role, so it'll be a good chance for him to make a difference there. Ottawa today returned Donovan Sabrango to the American Hockey League. He did take part on the Western road trip with the Senators, didn't get into a game. He was basically there as a insurance piece just in case anybody got hurt along the way. And now he's sent back to the American Hockey League, but they've also recalled Nick Matanpalo. Now, the difference between Sabrango and Matanpalo is one's a lefty, one's a righty, so I wonder if anybody is nicked up or they're looking to maybe make a change for their next game. I don't know. They do have a very big 4-game home swing coming up that'll get started on Thursday, I believe. The Minnesota Wild today have recalled Jesper Wallstedt and Liam Auger. And the Red Wings today have put Patrick Kane on injured reserve. He's been out injured since November 23rd, so that IR placement is basically just to free up a roster spot. It is retroactive to that date. You only have to be on IR for 7 days. So technically, even though they're only placing him on there today, he is eligible to come off anytime. But he will sound like, based on Coach Derek Lalonde's comments, he's probably not going to play this week. He's probably going to miss at least a couple more games by the sounds of it. And the biggest injury update we got today was Canucks defenseman Rumours Hronek, who we know has been out for a few days now. We're waiting for an update since the end of last week. Went awkwardly into the boards. It looks like he's got 2 injuries. He's going to be out for approximately 8 weeks. They said he had a procedure for a lower body injury, and he does have an upper body injury as well, but that one does not require surgery. To me, it looked like when he went awkwardly into the boards, I thought for sure it was a shoulder type of injury, but I didn't realize there was a second thing going on as well. So bad news for the Canucks. Obviously plays big minutes on the top pair with Quinn Hughes, and to be out basically for the equivalent of 2 months is certainly not going to be favorable here. Of course, one thing that will, I guess, limit the number of games missed is in the month of February. Of course, there is a break for the Four Nation Face-Off tournament, so it will kind of minimize how many games he'll end up missing overall, but still not good nonetheless. But at least he'll be back for the for the strong finish for the season. The Canucks are a team that's expected to be a playoff team, and he plays a big role. So obviously they'll get him back with enough time to be in the home stretch here of the season. The Four Nation Face-Off rosters will be revealed tomorrow and confirmed. Of course, the Swedish and Finnish teams will be announced earlier in the day, in the afternoon. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2 o'clock Eastern. They, of course, want to do that so that it lines up with being more like in prime time back in those countries. So fans of those nations that are in Sweden and Finland can obviously see that at a more opportune time. The Canadian and American teams will be revealed tomorrow night as well. I believe it's 7 o'clock Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. There was some what is believed to be leaks today. Lots of speculation on who's on, mostly around Team Canada and USA. I know on Team Canada, there is confirmation by some that some players who did not make it, which would include Nick Suzuki of Montreal, Tom Wilson of Washington, who was reportedly in the mix. It sounds like Logan Thompson, one of the goalies that was in the mix, didn't make the cut. And one of the bigger ones, Evan Bouchard. It sounds like he's not going to be on Team Canada. It sounds like they're going with Makar and Taves as one of the pairs, Theodore and Pietrangelo, which I've been predicting all along of those four. But it sounds like 5, 6, and 7 is a combination of Josh Morrissey. Again, no surprise there, but Colton Parayko and Travis Sanheim appears to be the number 6 and 7 defenseman. I guess maybe we shouldn't be shocked with Doug Armstrong running the show here that some Blues players might be looked upon favorably. I mean, Parayko is a huge guy, 6'6", if you want more of a defensive style guy. But, I guess you look around the league and maybe a Chris Tanev might have been a better option in my opinion. He's not as big as Parayko, but he's better defensively for sure. So, again, and Sanheim has played well. There's no doubt there, but I thought maybe a guy like a Mackenzie Weegar or Noah Dobson might get a look in front of them, but some interesting choices there. I know up front, it sounds like there's going to be lots of players between the Florida teams. It sounds like we know Braden Point's on the team. It sounds like Sorelli and Hagel, who I both predicted would be on there, have made it. It sounds like Sam Bennett from Florida has made it as well. I think, you're looking at guys like Ryan O'Reilly, though. Robert Thomas didn't get selected, which I know I said the Blues might be looked upon favorably. But if that's the case, you think Robert Thomas would have been picked, but that's not the case. Of course, Sam Reinhart is there for sure. Mark Stone, Mitch Marner. Marner, I believe, is going to be the only Leaf. There's no John Tavares. So we'll get all that confirmed tomorrow. And on the American side, a couple of the surprising one that sounds like Brock Nelson's there from the Islanders, but no Tage Thompson. There was a few other interesting ones too. So we'll find out and get all that confirmed and have a obviously dedicated video analyzing the rosters here tomorrow. But lots of speculation about who's in and who's out, and we'll get all that firmed up later. Of course, earlier today I have a video out talking with JT Miller. There's some big speculation that during his absence away from Vancouver, it might have something to do with him wanting out. Now, that is not confirmed. As I said in that video earlier, this is just a story that we're following. The people who put that news or speculation out there have had good sources in the past, and they have been accurate on other things. So we kind of want to, talk about it because it's potentially a huge development, but at the same time, it's, without coming with from somebody with more authority, it's, you can't say 100%, right? So we went over those possibilities. It's not that the Vancouver Canucks want to trade JT Miller, but there sounds like there might be a possibility here. Now, I hope for Vancouver's sake that it's not true, because that would be a massive blow. And when a player wants out, it does leave them trading from a position of weakness, which is also challenging, very tough to win those trades. There's been a lot of talk that the New York Rangers have been heavily pursuing Miller, not just now, but in the last couple of years. So we know Chris Drury's is kind of, all over it, looking to make some changes. Lots of speculation if Igor Shesterkin even wants to re-sign now. I seen Arthur Staple on one of the Daily Faceoff shows, the Morning Cup of Coffee one, I think, with Johnny Lazarus and Colby Cohen talking about that. I'm wondering if, does Igor even want to stay the way the team is playing, with the speculation about what he wants for money, what the team is offering. Can you imagine if they lost Igor? That would be such a major blow to that team. Things went from looking so good even just a year ago to they're in complete disarray right now. I don't think right now the talk is that Laviolette is safe for right now, that there's not going to be a coaching change, but man, that team is not playing well. But there's lots of names out there for the Rangers. I know Dave Pagnona today was talking about, as much as there's been lots of names out there, he's been hearing more and more about Capo Caco. And if a deal with the Canucks did go down, that would probably be a player they would target. Again, I can't say with certainty that Miller does for sure want out. But like I said, there are some that think he does. So we're going to be monitoring and following that story. If you want more analysis on that, check out my video from earlier. But the Rangers, we know, are open for business. That is confirmed. We've heard Kako. We've heard Lindgren's name, Keandre Miller. Obviously, Kreider and Trouba's names have been out there as well. Very complicated to some degrees. Zibanejad, again, very complicated. Some of these guys have big money in their contracts. Some of them have trade protection. It's not going to be easy for our jury to pull off some major deals. But definitely going to be a very, very interesting team and scenarios here to watch as we move forward. I know Pagnona was also talking about the Leafs today, indicating for sure, again, we've heard from other sources, that they're definitely looking at help down the middle. Probably not anything urgent, though, and they've been quite comfortable and happy with how Fraser Minton has filled in. So I think internally he might have a shot to be the longer-term number 3 center. So if they do add down the middle, it's probably going to be later in the year, and it's probably going to be somebody who's more capable as a number 2. We talked yesterday about the fact that they've had, maybe Nazem Kadri. There's been some talk about him, and that was more some NHL reporters feeling like that's what Toronto needs, more than any speculation that they're actually linked together. But there was talk that in the summertime that the Flames were making some moves and that Kadri would be open to a return to Toronto. Now, I can't verify that 100%, but there was word of that floating around during the peak part of the offseason when we had more activity. Brock Nelson's name has also been brought up as well. We are expecting the Islanders to, hopefully, for their sake, because I think they need it in the worst way, to go through a bit of a retool. They have some key forwards on expiring contracts. We've seen Brock Nelson's name come up. Kyle Palmieri's another name of the Islanders too, but he's been linked so far to a team like the New Jersey Devils, who are looking basically to add another top 9 forward who can produce some goals. And obviously Palmieri wouldn't have to go far. Familiarity with the organization, played there for a fair bit of time before. Might be a reunion in the works there. So certainly, like I said, for Toronto, though, looking at some center help, but they're playing so well right now that there's nothing urgent. I don't expect that to take place until closer to the trade deadline. And Chris Johnson today was actually talking about Brad Marchand in Boston, talking about how that scenario is one that he never expected to really see, but we know Marchand's an unrestricted free agent in the summertime if he doesn't re-sign. So that's a pending UFA player who right now is, there hasn't been any more talk about them having contract negotiations. We know that the team's gone through a coaching change. They're not where they want to be on the season. They've had a few good games under Joe Sacco, but they've had a few losses too. And this really sounds like it's going to really boil down to where the team is at. If the team is trending towards being a playoff team and they have a shot, I think internally they believe that they can do damage in the playoffs. I don't think Marchand gets moved. But if things don't come together with the coaching change, personnel moves are going to be coming next. We know they're not afraid to make tough decisions and walk from, leaders that are getting in their older years here. They did it with Zdeno Chara. It wouldn't be shocking if the Bruins feel like they're out of it, that closer to the deadline that a Marchand trade does become a reality. At least that's how Chris Johnson feels. He's not going to be putting him real high on the trade bait board right now, but he's a player to watch. Right now, the Bruins are in a spot, so it's not like they are panicked right now, but they already kind of went through that where they were, not enjoying the results, ended up making a change. Things have been a bit better, but they haven't been perfect. There's still work to be done. And again, this is really just a scenario that, Johnson is saying that we need to watch. It's all going to be towards team results. So if the Bruins do have more struggles, he would be one of the main guys to watch on a deal. So either way, it's going to be some interesting times around the NHL. We'll have big news tomorrow in the Four Nation Face-Off. Lots more speculation around that. And we can move on with some other news here tomorrow afternoon. So thanks very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on all of today's news and rumors in the comments, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around so you don't miss anything. And I'll catch you next time.